Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Stitches podcast. I'm your host Tash.
And I'm your co-host Connor.
Welcome, and today we are going to be talking about something that has long fascinated a lot of different groups of people and is still a big old question mark in the books of all, the end of the world.
Armageddon, baby.
So, Connor, thoughts?
I believe in like the one, in Doctor Who, a sun will expand and take over the earth and, explosion. I don't believe in like the rapture or like any other form. Some of the other wild theories, the death by meteor or death by volcano or something like that. Like natural disasters?
Yeah.
Yes. Disasters like religious raptures and stuff like this? No.
So you do believe that the world is at one point going to end?
Yes, but not for like billions of years.
I don't know. I feel I do believe in the end of the world, not in like a I hope it happens, ooh wee, but in like a everything starts and everything ends. I think that humans will ultimately be what ends the world.
Yeah, so like
The
you're thinking the same like
environment,
tsunamis or something like that
yeah.
due to
Nuclear as well, lest we
Nuclear.
forget. I think that is more likely going to be the result of the end of the world. But like, not the world isn't like everybody's going to die. Human beings are going to cease to exist. Like, because I agree with what you say. Like, the amount of money we're channeling into space travel and like developing technology and things like that, humans will survive, whether it be on a different planet or in a different world, whatever, however we get there. I feel like human beings will survive. Not everyone, obviously.
I think at this point, right, we should just get a bunch of DNA cells or whatever and create like our own meteor. Because you know how like people say humans developed because a meteor hit into Earth, had a bunch of like bacteria or germs or whatever. And that's how like we started to develop onto the...
What?
Something like that. That's what people kind of believe.
Okay.
So why don't we just send one of these probes to one of these planets that we've deemed habitable? Let's see what happens.
No, that's inhumane.
Why?
Because so you want to send basically like babies to a different planet.
Not babies, cells.
Cells.
Yes. Nothing that is alive. Well,
Yeah.
alive as in conscious, but as in like we send some DNA, some cells, some bacteria, some stuff to a planet that we have deemed hospitable. And then in a way, the human race goes on.
I think the problem with that is that we are currently not at a place where we found a planet that is habitable.
Yeah, but by the time it actually reaches there, it could be. Plus, was the Earth even habitable when we sent it there?
When we sent it,
Well-
are you stuck on the theory now that we, a different human race on a different planet, sent the meteor to Earth to see if humans would survive?
I did have like this conspiracy theory where the meteor was like a spaceship landing or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
I think my dad we had a discussion about it where it was very similar, where it was the fact that human beings are aliens and they landed on Earth, taking out what was on it before, the dinosaurs, the big baddies of the time, and then kind of like slowly killing off other races, like the Neanderthals, all of that, to become the quote unquote superior race and the only ones that are there to then like take over the planet. And we wouldn't know because it happened so long ago that we don't have any like knowledge of what happened and the memories of it. So now we are here, the aliens, fighting with these like other animals. And then eventually when technology reaches where it needs to reach, like what you're saying, we'll send something
A beacon.
and do the same thing again to another planet. And then this planet will die out. And then those human beings might end up trying to study this planet.
I mean, it makes sense with like past trajectories where we went from like islands to islands, discovering / conquering.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine we wouldn't do the same in the future, going to different planets.
It's interesting. And I hope it's not true because that's awful. But like if we're talking about the end of the world and the human race surviving because of how the wealthy and the ones in power are selfish in their nature, it will be like a very messed up situation where if anyone's watched Fallout, where they talk about how they've kind of done the bunkers, where it will essentially be like that.
See, it'll be like some fucked up time again where it'll be like Snowpiercer.
So, yeah, oh yeah,
Snowpiercer.
100%.
That's a better...
the classism will be real, where it will be. Speaking of the end of the world, this is like we're jumping, but it's fine. I once read, I don't know how true this is because it was on Reddit, some kind of a professor, someone who's established, talking about the world ending and what to expect in like a nuclear situation, like where, you know, all the nuclear weapons get fired off. And they were talking about the subject of like bunkers. So they got hired, and really, really wealthy people. They didn't disclose any names, but they were like top 1% in the world, and they were essentially privy to like a Q&A. They first started off by giving a presentation of like what your bunkers should have, and like, you know, what should be made out of, and like how deep it should go, all the essentials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, he's like, I'll do a Q&A, expecting them to ask things like, you know, how likely is it to happen? Like, you know what I mean? Stuff that normal people would ask. But they were asking questions like, how can you make sure that the help doesn't betray you and like end up killing you and taking all the things that you have? How do you make sure that they basically like obey you, and like basically ways of punishment to make sure that you have their loyalty? And his response was like something that completely apparently silenced them, because they were all like very like pretty much asking the same sorts of types of questions. And his response was like, there's no guarantee of making sure that people don't betray you if you're in a position of power. The only thing that I can say to you is that if you are going to be taking on people who you want to be able to like work for you, is you need to treat them like they're part of your family. You can't see it as like a, I'm top dog, I have all the money, because in that type of society, money's going to be meaningless. So you can't see yourself as just being like, oh, I'm housing them and doing this as enough, because you're going to need them for your survival, because you can't do anything for yourself. So you will need to treat them like they are human beings. And then if you have that, you build a relationship with them. That way it will be harder if they think about doing things like betraying you, because you have a relationship, and it's harder to stab someone in the back who you have like that kind of understanding with. And apparently they were like, ill. Not ill, but they were pretty much like, why can't we just use like a lot of ways of like torture and like shock collars and things like that? Why can't we just literally, I'm like that the thought to them of just treating people like people was so to them. They would rather be like, why can't we just put money into figuring out how to control someone and like manipulate someone? And I'm like, what the hell? The world is scary, and if that's the types of people in our race that are gonna survive, then I don't want to see it.
I don't know if I would want to end up in a doomsday bunker. Like, if it was like a cool one. Doomsday vaults will become very cult-like, and not in a good way, unless there's like good people in there. Otherwise, if you got the guy at the top, he's gonna be like, everyone has to sleep with me.
Oh yeah, it would be messed up really quickly.
Power goes to people's heads.
It really does. The only way to kind of make it work is like a community, a commune.
People
That's
don't
the
like
only.
That.
But like in that situation, that's the only way that it's not gonna become weird. It's just everyone's doing what they do, contributing, and everyone knows what they need to do. That's it.
So jumping back to end of the world's apocalypses, the rapture. You're more religious than me. You went to Catholic school?
I went to a Catholic boarding school, yes.
So do you think if the rapture came right now, do you think you would be beamed up?
Not right now, no. Because I haven't been to confession in a long, long time. I haven't been absolved of my sins. So right now, they're stacking up, baby. They're high up. I'm not saying I'm out here sinning all the time, but some of the things that count as sins are really petty. So, right now, probably not. But then, I don't know. It depends on how it depends. Because our God is a forgiving God. So I would just have to repent right beforehand. I'm going to repent right now, actually. Just kidding.
There's no priest.
You don't have to have a priest to repent.
I repent, God. Boom. I'm in.
I would say probably not on technicalities.
Fair enough.
You said you wouldn't.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would not get taken up. I have not been baptized.
Oh my God, you haven't. Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to just...
No. You can't just go around baptizing people.
It's funny, though. It's not funny. It's for your own good.
Whom's?
Do you want to know something, right? To everyone listening as well. I know that people believe in different things, right? As they should. Like, power to the people.
But anyone who's not Christian should be killed and
No,
burnt in fire.
absolutely not. No, Connor.
My
Why would
God.
I ever say that? That doesn't even sound
You
like me.
said it yesterday.
I never stop. You're not doing this. You will not gaslight. I'm just gonna say, right, for the people that don't believe in anything, why don't you just get everything done? Just to cover all bases. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God, it's like in The Mummy where the guy's coming at him and he's got all like the religious symbols.
Yes.
He's like,
just in case. Just in case. Is it just in case? Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, I'm an atheist, but just in case, like, you get to the other side and things pan out that you were wrong, let's get bases covered. You'd be like, phew, good thing I got business sorted while I
Dual
was still
citizenship.
alive. Literally dual citizenship. Get your visas in, you know, before they close the borders. No, but I think that beings out there, the creator, whoever that might be, or the creators, if they are the same people that put us on this earth or whatever, there is no way that they would deny eternal happiness and eternal peace for petty reasons. I would just like to put that out. That's what I believe in.
have you seen End of the World? The movie where like it's the rapture and nobody from Hollywood gets beamed up.
No, I've not seen it.
Once they're left behind, they can earn their way back up to the top by, redeeming themselves, sort of. So I guess he's kind of forgiving. For those of you who don't know what the rapture is, the rapture in Christianity is the belief that Jesus Christ will come back and lift up all the believers in Christianity, both living and dead believers, will ascend into heaven to meet Jesus Christ at the second coming. The belief in the rapture emerged from the anticipation that Jesus would return to redeem all members of the church. The term rapture, however, appears nowhere in the New Testament. So the end is nigh when the following occurs. So we can expect earthquakes, disease,
check,
famines,
check,
great storms,
check,
lightnings, and thunder.
Check. So that's all happening in different places, but still. Right now, if you looked at the news internationally, all of those things have been happening.
Disease, COVID.
I mean, yeah, disease has been going on for too long, some may say.
Yeah, there's always a new disease. What's going on?
Always something. Disease is happening everywhere. Earthquakes been happening all around. Famine, yes, of course. Yeah, all those things, 100%. They are happening, have happened. Yes, check. Next.
That's what it says.
Is that it?
Yep.
That's it.
That's
so you're telling me the end is nigh. It is nigh.
The end is nigh. It's very vague, yeah.
That's vague. That's super vague.
A specific thing, but it doesn't occur in the New Testament, so. Yeah.
What happened to the locusts?
It could be part of it, but I didn't find it when I was searching.
What?
It was very different things so I was like, oh, what happens to everyone that's left on Earth? Because in End of the World, all the sinners were just left behind, and it was like a Mad Max type of thing.
Yeah.
I saw on another thing where it was supposed to be that the demons come up and the angels go down and they have a big fight on Earth, or that the demons overtake the Earth. So I was like, what actually happens? What's written down? And apparently it's just they get left behind for the tribulations, the plagues, and the floods and all that, while the believers rise to heaven. Oh, also, when they rise to heaven, apparently they get a completely new body.
I mean, that makes sense. You wouldn't expect your human body to survive whatever's going on in heaven.
See, but it's not just that. It's supposed to be you get your true body. So it says, at the point of the rapture, all believers will receive new bodies, the body that God intended for us before sin. The body that we have now is not fit to experience eternity with God. This body we have now is temporary and worn out. Heaven is eternal, and we must have a resurrected body to spend eternity with God. God is a germaphobe.
I mean, wouldn't you? Have you seen humans? We're disgusting. I wonder what the new body would look like, though. Would it look anything like yourself? I guess probably not. It's the intended body. Probably like real moist.
Don't say that.
But it would be, wouldn't it?
Don't say that.
But it would be, wouldn't it, though?
No,
but it would,
no.
wouldn't it?
But it'd be dry as hell.
Why? Why would it be dry?
God doesn't like germs. He's germaphobe.
A clean type of moisture, but clean. Moist, but moist.
Everyone will come back, but they're eternally kept in one of those Monsters Inc. suits, so you can't touch anything, get anything dirty. God's just like, oh.
Heaven is just covered in plastic, the plastic wrap that like your grandparents wrap their furniture in so it doesn't get dirty. And you're just there like, oh wow, I love it here. This is what I mean by real moist.
Heaven's only white because of how he keeps sparkling clean, and he's like, he just does a loop. This is why he's not doing like miracles on earth anymore. He's cleaning up heaven because all the believers up there making things dirty, having parties, leaving their cups on the floor.
I don't think you'd be allowed to have a party in heaven.
Then I don't want to go.
What do you mean you don't want to go?
What if I cannot party? I mean, I don't party now.
I was just about to say, I don't know why you're saying this.
I
as
like
if
the
you don't
option.
avoid every single, like, going to a party with all your might right now. You're like, but when I get to heaven, things are going to change.
Yeah, because I'm tired from, like, work and stuff. You know, life is tiring. But if all I'm doing in life is living, then I'm going to party. But, okay, be honest. A party in heaven or a party in hell?
I don't want a party in hell. They'll probably be serving like baby feet or something. You are like picturing like the devil from Lucifer. I swear. Whenever you say anything, you're like, oh, wow. If the same devil is the one that's described in the Bible, I don't think that's what will be going on.
Yeah, but you're basing this off of what God has said. God is a liar.
First of all, it's not what God has said. God did not write the Bible.
He told someone to write
Let's
it.
get that out of the way.
So immediately...
God could literally not be like this, and the devil could not be like this, because neither of them wrote the Bible. Although, this might be going off topic, but apparently there's like a Bible that the devil wrote. It's like a thing. I don't have much information about it.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
But we'll do a Stitcher short on it, just to talk about it.
There's like a little scene in the greatest movie that ever made, Constantine, with Keanu Reeves, and he's like, oh yeah, the Devil's Bible goes up to like this many chapters, and it's about like how the Antichrist will come up and stuff. So yeah, people believe Christ will return twice. So the first of two is the coming of the Lord to snatch away the church out of the world, called the rapture. This would be a snatch away of the church back to heaven for 7 years, usually while the great tribulation happens on earth. Then, this is followed by a final, second stage, return of the Lord to establish his kingdom. Apparently you would go spend 7 years in heaven and then come back down. This is what I mean. It don't make sense. People have different understandings for what it is.
What's wrong with that? With getting a little taster?
I feel like if I've been not working, chilling in heaven with, you know, anything I want comes. Meeting God, being like, yo, what's happening? Or to send me back to Earth after 7 years, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I'm just gonna die, you know. So I can go back up
this
there.
is something that you don't have to worry about because you're not baptized.
True.
So you're gonna be on Earth with the rest of them. I'm joking.
Then I'm gonna make sure I survive.
You're not gonna be on Earth because you're gonna secretly get all of the stuff done to you.
So another apocalypse, which is, in my personal opinion, cooler than the rapture, Ragnarok, the Norse mythology of the end of the world. So Ragnarok is the cataclysmic destruction of the cosmos and everything in it, even the gods. When Norse mythology is considered as a chronological set of tales, the story of Ragnarok naturally comes at the very end. For the Vikings, the myth of Ragnarok was a prophecy of what was to come in some unspecified and unknown time in the future, but it had profound ramifications for how Vikings understood the world in their own time. Someday, whenever the Norse, you know, the people that spin the thread of life, decree, there shall be a great winter, unlike any other the world has yet seen. The biting winds will blow snow from all directions, and the warmth of the sun will fail, plunging the earth into unprecedented cold. This winter shall last for the length of 3 normal winters. That seems to be happening in England right now, with no summers in between. Mankind will become so desperate for food and other necessities of life that all laws and morals will fall away, leaving only the bare struggle for survival. It will be an age of swords and axes. Brother will slay brother, father will slay son, and son will slay father. Basically, every man for himself.
So it will get cold, and then people will get desperate and start killing each other.
Essentially, yeah. And then, the wolf, skull, and Haiti, who have hunted the sun and the moon through the skies since the beginning of time, will at last catch their prey. The stars, too, will disappear, leaving nothing but a black void in the heavens. Yggdrasil, the great tree that holds the cosmos together, will tremble, and all the trees and even the mountains will fall to the ground. The chain that has been holding back the monstrous wolf Fenrir will snap, and the beast will run free. Jormungand, the mighty serpent who dwells at the bottom of the ocean and encircles the land, will rise from the depths, spilling the seas over all the earth as he makes landfall. Fenrir, with fire blazing from his eyes and nostrils, will run across the earth with his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw against the top of the sky, devouring everything in his path. Jormungand will spit his venom all over the world, poisoning land, water, and air alike. So that sounds like plagues, tsunamis, earthquakes.
Yeah, but that description is just more badass, isn't it?
It's so much more poetic.
Yeah, it's like insane. I hope I'm not there.
And it's all like said in like forms of like poems and stories and
Yeah.
stuff. So cool.
Damn.
And there's more. Surt, with a flaming sword brighter than the sun in his hands, as they march across the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge to Asgard, the home of the gods, the bridge will break and fall behind them. An ominous horn blast will ring out. This will be Heimdall, the divine sentry, blowing the Jalgner horn to announce the arrival of the moment the gods have feared. Then the remains of the world will sink into the sea, and there will be nothing left but the void. Creation and all that has occurred since will be completely undone as if it had never happened. I forgot to mention this. The horn blowing, that also occurs during the rapture. Yeah, apparently that's a big thing. A horn will be blown at the end of the world.
I wonder what that's supposed to mean
Hmm.
exactly. But then you think about it, and like, you know, in like during like wars and stuff, like particularly World War One, World War Two in England anyway, because we learned about it in history. The sirens that would sound when they would be like planes spotted and they thought bombs were gonna drop, and telling people to get to a shelter. That's very horn-like as well.
I guess they were used for announcements and,
Yeah.
warnings and stuff like that.
But I'm just thinking, like, even now that we've come to like modern day, the alerts that come onto your phone, and if there was something that was happening, that would be like one of the things that we would hear to tell us that the end is nigh.
The final beep. Beep, beep.
That's mental, though. That was probably written like ages and ages ago, and they're similar, differently written, but similar in terms of content. And now in today's world, things happening around us, and it could still be very much so applicable.
Although also with Ragnarok, there's like hope at the end. Well, kind of hope. Because there's some interpretations where it's like, others hold that a new world, green and beautiful, will arise out of the waters. Vidar and a few other gods like Vali, Balder, and Hedr, and Thor's sons Modi and Magni, will survive the downfall of the old world and will live joyously in the new one. A man and a woman, Lif and Litharissa, will have hidden themselves from the cataclysm in a place called the Wood of Hadamir, and will now come out and populate the lush land in which they will find themselves. A new son, the daughter of the previous one, and will rule the sky, and all of this will be presided over by a new almighty ruler.
Yes, there's hope. I mean, like we said, the human race or whatever always finds a way to survive.
I mean, you have the rapture.
Yeah.
You come back down after 7 years, maybe.
I guess, yeah.
It seems more like a renewal than a apocalypse.
That's what the arc was about.
Still, loads of people will die.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing. It's
I'm
like,
not promoting
it's a renewal, you know? You gotta get rid of the old to come with the new. Which is insane, but people had apocalypse, I guess. I don't know.
Ragnarok served as a dual purpose for like Vikings and stuff. They saw the myth of Ragnarok as serving as like a model for human action, because at the end, the gods knew they weren't going to be able to stop it, but they still fight with all their might against like the wolf and Surtur and all that, and ultimately die.
Yeah.
But they know this is going to happen because it's been prophesized. They know. And the fact that they go and fight knowing that they're going to lose is seen as more of a like heroic sense of honor for the Vikings.
Isn't the fight meant to like give the people who can't fight more of like a chance? Just more of like a longer to maybe...
Didn't specify that.
I'm just thinking about it. Like, because if maybe they didn't do that, then the man and the woman that got away or whatever and hid Maybe they wouldn't have had time to do that or a chance to do that.
It's more, well, they saw it as more of dying with dignity, honor, and courage. Because it says, just as the gods will die one day, so too will each individual human being. And just as the gods will go out and face their fate with dignity, honor, and courage, so too can humans.
Wow.
So that's a good takeaway, rather than the rapture where it's like, fuck the rest of you, we're going to heaven. Get in the car, bitches. We're going to heaven. So I'm going to go into like a few more, like, well, I say modern day ones. But like, oh no, it's kind of modern day. 2000s, what's that, 24 years ago? People were alive in this time when it happened. Talking about Y2K.
I don't really know anything about Y2K.
Well, from what I heard, technology was going to take over. Everything was going to get reset because it was going to 000. But I didn't know why. I didn't know any of the reasonings until I like had to search it up. So basically, Y2K was a bug in like computerized systems. So essentially, they thought due to the coding problem, computerized systems that was projected to create havoc in computers and computer networks around the world at the beginning of the year 2000. It's all because they set the computer's like date. It's all about like the date on the computer. It's very weird. So instead of having it like be on the computer system 1998, they didn't add the first part where it's 19. So it would just go up from like 86, 92, and that's the only thing that would change. They didn't set anything for the actual date to move.
Yeah.
So when it was going to change to like the date 2000, everyone thought it was just going to change to 1900. They don't have a patch in the system to be 2000. So they had to change all the system apparently.
Why would this result in the end of the world? I'm so confused.
It was feared that such a misreading would lead to software and hardware failures in computers used in such important areas as banking, utility systems, and government records. So centers of technology such as power plants were also threatened by the Y2K bug. Banks, which calculate interest rates on a daily basis, faced real problems. Transportation also depends on the correct time and date. Yeah, so due to all of that, they thought everything was just going to collapse. Apparently, there was like a little problem at the nuclear energy facility in Japan, where it had some of its radiation equipment fail, but backup facilities ensured there was no threat.
I don't know if you have this in your like research or whatever, but who initially released the whole idea to everyone? Was like, oh yeah, this is a bug that it's going to cause everything to go crazy.
I don't know who initially released it, but it was like big talks in the government, and then the government, well, some governments paid a bunch of money to get like the computer systems updated so there would be no problem.
Oh, okay. So there was a problem.
There was an actual problem, yeah.
I thought it got fixed.
I thought it was more of a hoax.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a conspiracy theory that people made up, and then people were like...
Yeah, but no, it was a genuine problem that people thought.
Yeah.
It also says here, computer programs that projected budgets or debts into the future could begin malfunctioning in 1999 when they made projections into 2000. Because the computers, basically to save memory, they just had the 19 stay fixed. Yeah. And the next part would just change. So they didn't have anything to go to the year 2000. Which is weird.
That's such a flaw.
Yeah, it's such a flaw. But what's weird is, like, the US and other people paid so much money to, like, change all this. And yet, countries like Italy, Russia, and South Korea had done little to prepare for Y2K. They had no more technology problems than those countries in the US that spent millions of dollars to combat the problem.
That kind of sounds like they might have just said, oh yeah, this money is going to combat the problem, but they might have used it for something else.
If it was projected to be such a big problem, and yet a bunch of countries did nothing, what is going on?
You might have just uncovered something deeper than...
I don't know if I've uncovered it.
Yeah, let's just put it out there. If we suddenly disappear, I just want the record to show that we are not professionals. Don't say what we say to heart. We are just two goofy pals.
But yet, like, the British government announced that its armed forces would be prepared in time and would provide assistance to local police if utilities, transport systems, or emergency systems failed. So it was
then literally the glitch is tiny.
Yeah, I feel like it got blown out of proportion a lot.
Probably. They just wanted people to be excited about something.
Mm-hmm. Because I think Australia, I read that Australia had diplomats over in Russia.
Yeah.
And because they were so feared that communication would go down, they called back all their people from the embassy because Russia wasn't doing anything to like prepare. And it was all fine.
Maybe they just wanted their diplomats to come back. And then they were like, let's use this as an excuse to get them all out.
Maybe only America had actually had this problem with their technology. Everyone else was like, yeah, we added like the 20 to move as well. So don't see it being a problem,
we knew the 2000s
guys.
were coming. Like, of course they're coming. Like, what?
But yeah.
Weird.
So nothing really happened. It was not the end of the world. I just remember the My Name is Earl episode where they're like getting ready to loot. And when they hear the fireworks going off, I'm like, oh my God, is that tanks? What's going on? They're attacking people. And then they leave their house and everyone's at the parade. So they're like, oh my God, people have died. Technology has taken over.
Technology has taken over. Imagine like people thinking that technology had taken over at that point. Although that was the beginning of like, in terms of films, where technology
Terminator.
started. Yeah. So
that could have added to the fear.
Yeah.
So moving on, here's an apocalypse that I think, well, I say all of us, everyone alive will remember. 2012.
Oh, yes.
The world was supposed to end in the good old 2012.
I think we've talked about this in previous episodes. I think we've
Might have
mentioned it. Yeah, we
yeah.
were like, oh, remember in 2012 when we thought that the world was going to end, and we like, because I remember I was in class and we were like counting down, and then nothing happened. And I was like, oh.
I just remember the news reporting it, and they were in like, I don't know why, they were in France looking at some mountains, and then I think a bird flew past and they're like, oh my God, we just saw something fly past here. We're going to stay here and we're going to report on this. And I was like, why are they in France? Because from what I knew, it was supposed to be the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
The Mayan calendar.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. I only really found out about it because of the Clairvoyant episode when you said it was because of the Mayan calendar. I was like, I actually had no idea. I knew it was a calendar, but I didn't know it was the Mayan calendar.
There was a few different theories.
Yeah.
That people thought was going to happen. So in 2012, some predicted that we'd be wiped out by a natural disaster like a giant tidal wave, an Earth-wide earthquake, or a tremendous volcano eruption. Others believed that on the day in December, the Earth would collide with a mysterious planet, Planet X, causing magnetic pole shifts, gravitational reversals, or a black hole so big that our solar system would simply disappear. We have known about the coming apocalypse since the ancient Mayan predicted and recorded it on their long calendar.
A big wave, really, people.
It's called a tsunami.
Like, yeah, but one that was going to wipe out everyone.
Well, there's super volcanoes. There could be like a super tidal wave. I don't know if that's
I don't know. I feel like that's ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous.
Tidal waves that
out
hit.
Of all of them, I feel like that's just insane. Like, I would have got if it was multiple happening at the same time. It's like one big one is coming and it's gonna get everyone. Like, come on now. Let's calm down.
So basically, the Mayans developed 3 different types of calendars, right? So there was the short count and the long count. The short count was 52 years, and the long count was 5,125 years.
Yeah, that sounds long.
So it was basically saying, do you know how at the end of the year on our calendar, it skips from 2024 to 2025?
Yeah.
That's basically what the Mayan calendar was. They would just create a new long count calendar and everything would carry on. But people saw it as, oh, instead of it being like a new era, a new calendar, some people was like, oh, the cycle would just end and it would be the end of the world. I mean, technically it did end because the Mayans are dead, but I'm sure if they were still alive, they would have just created a new calendar and been like, well, we got one for the next 5,125 years. Don't need to plan ahead anymore.
I guess. I mean...
Plus, capitalism is what we have to buy a calendar every year. If the Mayans had taken over, we would be set for 5,125 years.
We have, like, an acrylic calendar that we don't have to buy one every year.
For now.
What do you mean for now?
We could have a big rock that's carved out and we'd have it in our living room and it would look beautiful. And it would tell us the phases of the moon, other shit. And it would be so accurate.
Next question. But how expensive would that big rock be?
I don't know. But we wouldn't have to buy a new... It could be like a family tradition because it lasts 5,125 years.
Family tradition.
People take over your house, they just put the rock back in, they put it in a different place, you know? It'd be beautiful.
It would be beautiful.
Some of the doomsay claimed that there was a scientific explanation for their prediction of why the world was going to end.
Okay.
So on December 21st, they said the winter solstice in the Milky Way's equator would align. For their part, scientists pointed out that the coincidence of these two events would actually have no effect on the Earth, and furthermore, without 20th century radio telescopes, the Mayans could not have predicted or known that the galaxy equator even existed, much less where it would be, 2,000 years ahead. Although some believed that the Mayans were following extraterrestrial instructions when they developed their calendar. For instance, while others feared that aliens would use the long count calendar to time their takeover for our planet.
Why is it that like whenever anyone doesn't understand how people did stuff in the past, they're always like aliens? They definitely got help from the aliens. I'm like, no, just because you can't figure it out now doesn't mean that they like used aliens.
Yeah, I feel like people's thinking is so one-dimensional now.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I'm the smartest person alive and I can't figure it out.
So therefore, they must have had extraterrestrial help.
Space aliens, man.
It's like, no, you just can't figure it out.
But yeah, and then there was also a fear that the planet X, or Nibiru, supposedly heading towards Earth. There was supposedly a hidden planet in our solar system that NASA was keeping hidden, and that it was, like the sun is expanding, it was gradually getting closer, and it was going to smash into us. There was a UFO aficionado named Nancy Leider, who describes herself as being in contact with aliens from the star system Zeta Reticuli. She first said Nibiru would cause widespread disaster in May 2003, only to later change her prediction to December 21st, 2022, the day that the Mayan calendar was supposedly to end.
Oh, how convenient that is.
So she believed that it was hiding behind the sun, or it was hidden just out of sight, and claimed that NASA was engaged in the cover-up and conspiracy to not cause great panic. When people were like, oh, the world is going to end and all this and all that, which ones did you hear?
I never thought the world was going to end, and I never heard why.
Yeah, but
people just said the world's going to end, and I was like, okay.
Oh, that was it? They were just like, world's going to end?
Yeah, like no one ever gave a reason. They just said the world's going to end, and I was like, okay. And then it didn't, and I was like, okay.
See, I heard the Mayan calendar one. I'd never heard about like this planet thing smashing into
No,
us.
I think I did hear someone mention a calendar, but I was just not interested at the time. I was like, if the world ends, great. If it doesn't, at least I got my homework done. That was literally it. 12-year-old me was like, literally, I was like, I've not been given any evidence. No one was freaking out enough for me to think that anything was going to happen.
Yeah, that it was real at all.
Because I was like, if the world was ending today, there's nowhere my family would be like, go to school. There's no way any of these teachers would show up.
Yeah.
And literally we had a full class and the teachers were there. There were no substitutes. So I was like, yeah, everything's normal.
Imagine how embarrassing it would have been if it did end just like...
Exactly. I was like, really, it's going to end while I'm here in a classroom? Like, are you serious? Are you for real? But I do remember us counting down. That was kind of exciting, I guess.
I don't remember a countdown.
No, our class counted down.
Yeah, but I don't remember it like having a time.
Oh, we had a time. I think it was like 12. Was it meant to be at 12?
I don't know. I didn't find
Something like
anything
that,
to do
like
with
noon.
Like the time. It
We
was
were
just
like-
supposed to end on the day December 21st, 2012.
I don't remember it being that late. Why was I still in school on December 21st?
Weird.
Very weird. I remember it being like middle of the year though.
Yeah, I remember it being sunny.
Yeah, it was sunny.
Yeah, very
Very,
weird.
very weird.
Because I was thinking it was like May or June or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, do you want to know something? Where's my phone? Because I think I put a Facebook post where I was like, well, the world didn't end. See you tomorrow. Something like that. 21st of December, 2012. School is closed. The world didn't end. Ha ha ha. See you all next year.
Damn.
Yep.
So it was.
There it is. 21st of December, 2012.
But it's crazy that they made a whole movie about it as well. 2012.
I actually don't think I've watched it. Wait, no, I have. Is this the one where they have the limo?
Yes.
Yes, I have
with
watched
John
it. Yes.
Cusack.
Because I remember being really mad about the limo. Because I'm like, there's no way that limo is driving that fast and you're surviving all of this. Change to a different car. It's such a small detail, but it annoyed me so much.
The film was crazy. There was tsunamis.
Yeah.
Volcano eruptions.
Check.
Yellowstone eruption.
Oh, Yellowstone. That's a lot of people at my school. Well, one person, shout out to Shannon, because I know she's listening, would freak out by Yellowstone. We would have lectures from her about Yellowstone. where I feel like her mind would drift off and she would suddenly be like, why is no one talking about this? And it was her personality for a good month, and it was insane.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was like looking up apocalypses, I was like going through, and then I remembered your story of like Shannon talking about
Shannon
Yellowstone.
the way she would talk about Yellowstone was so inspirational, because it was like, I think I even started to freak out thinking it was going to be something that was going to be bigger in my life than it actually has been, because I've not heard about it since. She was having a full existential crisis at that point. Like, she was like convinced that this is going to be the reason the world ends, to be honest.
That's why I've added it to the apocalypse list. Just because I had remembered that story about Shannon, and I added it.
She's still letting people know about Yellowstone now, even though we're not in school anymore.
Hey, when it erupts, she'll be right there like,
I told you. What did I say?
Why weren't you guys prepared?
I said what I said. Literally, yeah, she's going to be like, I said what I said. And would be like, we are so sorry for not taking your... Well, no, I did take it seriously, though, because I too was concerned until I was like, if it happens, there's nothing we can do about it.
Do you know how there's like doomsday preppers and everything? Would you have a doomsday kit?
If I had money, I would have a full bunker.
You'd get a bunker?
If I had money right now, bro, I don't even think you know who you're talking to. I would have everything ready. And I would definitely practice drills with the people in my life. I'd be like, I'm not even joking. I would be like, right now, from where everyone is, you need to plan out how you would get to the bunker. You literally you need to figure out a route. How do you get to the bunker? Solar panels down in the would have to have some type of way to create kinetic energy that we can store. Probably some treadmills will be down there getting ready. Food selection. Be constantly going through that once a year to make sure that nothing's gone off, you know? We would probably sleep there once a year just to make sure that everyone's all comfortable and we can see what we need for the place. Oh yeah, everyone would need to be training to be able to fight. Yeah.
Damn.
I wouldn't go so far as to have like weapons.
So you'd train people to defend themselves, but you wouldn't have weapons.
I wouldn't have guns because we live in England.
Yeah, swords, you know.
Yeah,
Javelins.
yeah. Swords will be trained in swords and javels. Crossbows, 100% of the time. But that will be stuff for like hunting. Everyone will also take classes on like growing food. Would definitely be prepared in that. And there will be seeds also available in the bunker for when we eventually move out, as well as oxygen tanks.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect this this passion, this response from you. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, I'd just have, you know, a little bag with a radio, some bins, some water.
I don't think you even understand. If I had the money, this would literally be a reality. Like, you would know about my bunker. You would be like, oh yeah. Like, if anyone ever asked you, like, what you doing in a bunker? You'd be like, oh, Tash's bunker, duh. Literally, that would be your response. Everyone would be like, what are you talking about?
It's bunker day. We have to go sleep in the bunker.
Yeah,
so
it'll be bunker day. Book your holidays at work. Get your time off. Bring your kids too, because they're going to need to know what's up. And we need to be prepared for like all types of situations. We need the life vests. They're going to be on there just in case, you know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to need to be doing some work. And obviously, if people are going to be in there, I want it to be like super comfortable for everyone. We can decorate it how we decorate it, you know, have nice times. Bring some stuff in there to do, because you're going to be kind of bored, you know. Bring some instruments that you can play, get some entertainment going too.
Oh, I feel like if someone's trying to practice to learn a guitar or an instrument or something in such close proximity, someone may die.
My bunker would be massive. Well, not like super massive, obviously.
With what money?
This is why I said if I had money, and it would be located somewhere in Africa.
But have you seen these people in the US that have like disaster balls? Concrete ball seats maybe like 2 people. The person I saw has a bunch of provisions in it and stuff. And it was for her and her dog. And it had like so much food, and apparently it can survive earthquakes, tsunamis, and all this and all that. I don't know. She wasn't rich.
Yeah.
So you could get one of these disaster balls.
I'll look into it and I'll let you know how I get on with that.
Was it this year or was it last year when Rishi Sunak was like, oh, everyone needs to get these items? Or was like someone from the government was like, you need to get like these
last
items.
Month.
No one panicked. No one had sold out of these like solar power radios or, you know, fresh water or anything. It was just like,
this is what happens when people have lost faith in their government. They don't care what you say. I also feel like it's because people are kind of just like, if it happens, it happens. People are very like, I don't know. I think the hope is just kind of gone in people, and that motivation is just not there anymore.
It felt more like they were trying to distract us from things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nah.
Yeah, where it's like...
So here are some predictions of what the apocalypse might look like in the forthcoming days. So, as we mentioned, Yellowstone. So, for those of you who don't know, Yellowstone is a supervolcano that resides in the United States of America. Thousands of times more powerful than a regular volcano, it has only had 3 enormous eruptions in history. One occurred 2.1 million years ago, one occurred 1.3 million years ago, and one occurred 664,000 years ago.
It's due one, basically, isn't it?
No. It's like, we still got a good 400,000 years. We're going off of 2.1 million years ago, 1.3 million years ago. Needs to get up to 1 million at least.
Yeah, but what's the gap between... Oh, okay.
Oh, shit, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Because that one was only like, what? That one 600,000 years ago.
Yeah, so about 300,000, let's say then.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens in the coming years. So in September, a team of scientists published a paper exploring what a Yellowstone super eruption might actually look like.
In what year, sorry?
2014. Among other things, they found the volcano was capable of burying states like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Colorado in 3 feet of harmful volcanic ash, a mix of splintering rock and glass, and blanket the Midwest. That much ash could kill plants and animals, crush roofs, and short all sorts of electrical equipment. So do you know how like the volcano erupted in Iceland and it caused so much trouble for traffic? It was nothing. That was tiny. If the Yellowstone volcano were to erupt, it would happen like this. Heat rising from deep within the planet's core would begin to melt the molten rock just below the ground surface. That would create a mixture of magma, rocks, vapor, carbon dioxide, and other gases. As the mix massed and rose over thousands of years, the pressure eventually would push the ground up into a dome shape and create cracks along the edges. As that pressure was released through the cracks, the dissolved gases would explode, emptying the magma in quick fashion as the park. The eruption would entail more than dangerous lava flows and could be expected to kill as many as 900,000 people immediately and spread a 10-foot or 3-meter layer of molten ash as far as 1,000 miles away. The haze of gas that could drape the country wouldn't just dim the sunlight, it would also cool the earth. Falling temperatures would do a number on our food supply, decimating crops and throwing the food chain out of whack by leaving those at the bottom with little to eat. The good news is that an eruption of this scale isn't likely in any of our lifetimes.
That they know of. Because like, isn't like studying volcanoes and stuff, even though they're like, oh, you know, it's still not exact.
Yeah, it's like tsunamis where it's like, you can predict when it's going to happen. We can't stop or like, and it's always like the day before or something like that.
Yeah, because it's just kind of like, you just don't
know.
You just don't know. Because it's like all dandy now to be like, oh yeah, we're fine for whatever. But something could upset it and then boom.
This is why people are looking into volcanoes and stuff, so we can stop the Yellowstone eruption.
I mean, we probably can't stop it, but probably just warn everyone and try and move everyone out.
Shannon was right. We're doomed. Don't go to school tomorrow, kids.
Hey,
don't go to
they
work.
They will go to a different planet, remember? Because they will. Because that's what we're looking into and spending all our money on at the moment.
To Mars.
Ugh. I would rather just stay here at that point. Just leave me here, guys. I don't want to. I don't want to go live on a planet where I would have to wear a spacesuit before stepping outside.
You mean
forgetful.
Clothes?
No, not clothes. You have to make sure everything is like air sealed and all of that. I'm forgetful. I will walk out and be like, whoop. Guess that's it for me.
I spill so much on my like regular clothes. I feel like I would just like rip it somewhere, then one step out.
That's it. Like, yeah, I can't. I don't go on without me.
Well, other types of apocalypses that could happen. Nuclear war. That's a big one.
That's one that keeps me up at night.
That's one that Richie Sunak had warned us about, and we were like, "Nyeh." I mean, honestly, I cannot see us going into another nuclear war. Well, dropping another nuclear bomb. We'd be idiots.
I cannot believe that 2 were dropped. The threat alone, I feel like, is enough. Should have been enough. There was no reason to go that far.
I don't know how long after the first one was dropped that the second one came.
It wasn't that long.
I cannot see us doing that again. It'd be so stupid. So another cause of apocalypse, meteors.
Oh, yes.
The very thing that killed the dinosaurs. For me, meteor hitting the planet, that's the most likely apocalyptic event for me.
Wrong.
It's pronounced Ron Weasley.
Do you want to know why you're wrong?
Why?
Because of the monitoring that goes on, that NASA does and other international space stations do. They monitor to see what's coming in. And if there's anything that big that's going to be wiping out people, then they are going to know and they're going to be able to give a warning beforehand or try to somehow shift its trajectory.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there is a meteor that is going to crash into Earth.
Why are you lying?
I'm not lying.
What? Is it big enough that it's going to kill people, the whole planet?
Not the whole planet, but a chunk of people. It's not going to happen for a while. I don't know how long. But they had literally just sent a probe to collect the rock to find out what it's made of. Because at one point, it's going to hit into Earth. It could be like 100 years from now. It could be like 200 or like 1,000 or whatever. But at one point, it will. So they've taken samples from it to find out what it's made of so that they can try and destroy it or knock it off.
This is what I mean. Like, I feel like because they know they're going to figure out how to destroy it. I think also the thing with meteors is that you can see the size of it and you'll be like, whoa, that's huge. But by the time that it gets into our atmosphere and it's falling and it gets burned up, a lot of them end up being like quite small anyway and being broken down into like smaller pieces that just land in random
one that's
places.
got like the iron cores and stuff like this.
So, so I feel like out of all of them, that's one that I'm like,
because all it takes is someone to miss it.
Yeah, but this is a group of people.
There was like a kid, an intern that started to work for NASA, and then he was like, you guys have been doing this for years, and I just came in on my first day and I found this shit.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different.
How?
Because that's not a threat to humanity as we know it, is
Exactly.
it?
We don't even know. You know,
wasn't that like a planet? Like, didn't he like discover a planet or a moon or something?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
But did people even know that meteor was going to pass over Portugal?
They would have 100% known it.
Did they?
Yes, they would have 100% known that it was going to happen. Do you know how many like freaking satellites and like, do you know how much like time and money has gone to space? Particularly things that enter our atmosphere and things that are in our orbit.
A lot.
They know these things. You should be worrying about the ocean. That's what we should be worrying about.
Nothing's going to come out of the ocean.
You do not know that. They keep going deeper and deeper and deeper in. And they keep discovering more stuff. Like more oceans underneath the damn oceans. And rivers underneath the damn oceans. And random creatures in the damn ocean. And
I'm fine with that.
You're fine with that?
That's not going to cause the apocalypse.
You don't know that. They could be shaking up the core. Shaking up the earth from underneath, you know? So you're like space and I'm like ocean, baby. I don't think that's how we will end, but I would not be surprised if.
What about alien invasion?
I don't know. I feel like if it was going to happen, it would have happened.
Same. Especially if everyone's like, oh, they came during
exactly.
Egypt and stuff like this. Mayans.
I believe that they have been here. They came and they...
See, but I feel like at this point, right, we'd be our own downfall. Like, a spaceship will come close. We will nuke the shit out of them. And then it turns out they were just here to be like, hey guys, how's it going? You guys look pretty cool. We were just gonna invite you into like a planetary allegiance over here. And then we're gonna get completely destroyed by aliens who are like, we're a threat. They are just Neanderthals with weapons and we need to take them down.
Also, imagine they're like coming to tell us that, have you guys seen that giant meteor that's coming at you?
Bomb them and
I don't
bomb
think
them
you
again.
saw it. And they were like, boom, and the meteor hits.
Everyone high fives.
Yeah,
We did.
and they're like, oh, wait a minute. They're like, how did you miss that? It's huge. They're like, we were busy with the aliens. We're kind of distracted. I don't know. I mean, who confirmed it? It was confirmed that aliens are real.
It was confirmed that
UFO, sorry.
that was just unidentified flying object.
I mean...
It could be aliens. It could just be government spying on each other with really high-tech planes and shit that they've taken from aliens, maybe? I don't know. Not to say I don't believe in aliens. I do believe in aliens, but, you know, I'm controversial.
So is that the big baddies? Is that all of them?
That's the ones that I could think of to look for. I don't know if you got any off the top of your head.
The robot uprising. Beep, boop, beep.
The robot uprising. I feel like that's more future because... I don't know.
Actually, I don't know. Is it future?
Yeah,
because robots are real and they're, seeking citizenship.
Some of them be
Shout
hitting
outs
parkour.
to like Sophia, whatever her name is. I wonder if she did get her citizenship.
I think she did,
Why is it that human beings are out here like seeking asylum and we're like, no. But then a robot comes up and everyone's like, oh my God, what do you mean she's got citizenship? You're not real. Oh my God.
Wow, Tash.
I'm joking. If she's listening, I'm actually joking. You are. No, I stand by what I said. You're not real. You are a machine. Whoever the menace, that's right, the menace who gave her emotions Why? Spend your time and your energy doing something else. What do you mean that's what you wanted to do? Why?
This should be a situation where it's like, oh, pray to all religions. I say please and thank you on Google now, so I don't get taken over by it.
I do that too. Like when I'm on ChatGPT, I'm like, please, can you do this for me? Thank you so much. Like, remember me as one of the good ones, please. Even like with like my microwave, I'm not slamming the door. Just gotta shut it gently. Why do they need emotions?
Yeah, I think we go a little bit too far.
That's too much. Like, no, it does not.
There's like a TV show called The Orville.
Mhm.
It's like a Star Trek sort of. And there's a planet where there's a bunch of robots called the Kalons.
Yeah.
And they were man-made, and they were just meant to be like maids and servants and stuff like this. But they started to think independently. So instead of being like, oh my God, they've developed consciousness or whatever, they decided to insert coding that makes them feel pain. And they gave the people the button to be able to press it. So when it didn't listen to them, it would feel excruciating pain. It can't scream though. And there's just this scene where there's like children playing with the remote and they keep pressing the button and hurting it. And they're just laughing. They ended up killing the entire planet. And I get it. In that type of situation, imagine.
I am speechless. I don't even. Who wrote that?
It's the same guy that does Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, didn't expect that.
Yeah, he's a giant Star Trek fan.
I feel like there should be laws put in place now about how much you're allowed to alter like AI and robots in regards to emotions, because just to like stop people from experimenting before, because there might be laws. I have not looked into it, but if there's not, there should be, because that's terrifying.
So making robots look human, no.
I don't
like
mind.
it. No, having like a human face feels weird.
Oh, it is giving slavery though, a little bit. Yeah, no.
I don't know. I like the robots in
like,
iRobot, where it's like,
that's terrifying. That's scary. That's scary.
That's
Just
not a
see those
scary
eyes
face.
is there. Like, can a robot draw a masterpiece? And then he's like, can you? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm talking about that face. Like where it's not, at least it's face adjacent.
No.
I don't want the human skin face thing. No, please, no.
I prefer the one in that movie we watched.
Oh, The Creator.
The Creator. I prefer that one where they've got a human face, but you can see in the ears and stuff that it's got mechanics and stuff. I don't like the fact that they gave them emotions just to be like, whoa, buddy. But like, if it looks kind of like that, because it's like human-ish, but you can still tell like, oh, this is a machine. And again, it depends on what they're doing. For like medical reasons, like helping out in hospitals and like stuff and care, then yeah, it makes sense for them to be a bit more gentler looking. Otherwise, you don't want to frighten patients.
So do you want some future predictions of the end of the world?
Yeah.
So in a measly 2 years' time, the world will end.
2 years?
2 years.
Wow.
And on the 13th of November, 2026.
So I won't even make it to my 27th birthday.
I'm afraid not, Tash. In a 1960s Science article, the scientists predicted a date for the end of the humanity due to overpopulation.
Wow.
So we'll be overpopulated in the 13th of November, 2026.
That's not true, because people have stopped having babies. So
that was a prediction from 1960s.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why they would think that though, because given the like graph, it would seem like it needs to be like that. But then they didn't put into account that the economy will be crazy, COVID, young people are doing other things.
There's also, again, in 2026, the Messiah Foundation International. Come on, get a better name. Messiah Foundation International.
MFI.
The spiritual organization predicts that the world will end in 2026 when an asteroid, shouts to them, collides with Earth in accordance with Riaz Ahmed Gohar Shari's prediction in his 2012 book, The Religion of God.
Also 2026.
Also 2026.
Okay.
Doesn't give an exact date, but
either way, not making it to 27. Shout outs.
Then there's someone who specified 2028.
Okay.
Kent Hovind, while clarifying there is no way to be certain, this Christian fundamentalist evangelist speculated in 2015 that 2028 was the most likely year for the rapture.
Okay.
So mark it on your calendars, 2026, 2028.
They can't, because we don't have the Mayan calendar, so they have to wait until they get the 2026 calendar to mark it on there.
Right, and then imagine I put all my predictions into this, like my technology calendar, like Google.
Yeah.
And then technology takes over.
Oh my God, yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, because you've marked it, we're just going to assume that's the day.
Evan just kill us all. So these are future predictions.
Yeah.
Way out there. On the year 11,118, per Leslie's use of the doomsday argument, there is a 95% chance the last human being will be born before the year.
Is that it? No more births.
No more birth.
Do you know what? If that's how the world is to end, that's kind of nice.
All right.
That's all right. Like, I don't mind that, to just be like, people aren't getting born anymore. Oh, okay. The rest of you will just
Not bad, not
live
bad.
your life.
In the year 300,000, Peter Tunthill predicted that a triple star is expected to explode in a supernova. It has been suggested that it will produce a gamma ray burst that could pose a threat to life on Earth, should its poles be aligned or lower towards Earth. However, spectroscopic observations strongly suggest that it is tilted at an angle that should not hit the Earth.
That one was a good one, though, like before they proved you wrong.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty good one. Yeah, like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll be like, yeah, I'm with you.
You had some science behind it, wasn't just,
That's the whole point, you made a prediction based off of some things that you saw. They went and investigated and were like, you can calm down, buddy.
Within the next 1 million years, Earth will likely have undergone a supervolcanic eruption, an event comparable to the Toba super eruption 75,000 years ago. So like Yellowstone, pretty much. And then there's the one that Doctor Who predicted, where it's like 759 billion years from now, the Earth and the Moon will most likely be destroyed by falling into the sun as it reaches its red giant phase.
Yeah, that one kind of makes sense. I mean, we're headed towards that way.
But that's all the predictions.
Nice. Pretty solid predictions, like nothing too outrageous,
So you were on the fact that the world was going to end due to nuclear war. That's your...
I'm not saying that it's going to.
No,
I'm saying it's most likely.
The most likely.
Yeah, most likely.
See, I'm on a media. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we are currently hurling through space and we can come across anything, so.
True, aliens could invade.
Aliens could invade. Aliens could throw the meteor at us.
They could just shoot a laser and went...
Boom. I mean, anything can
knows?
happen.
Yeah.
But we do hope that the world keeps on spinning.
We just gotta enjoy it every day, don't we?
Exactly. Just gonna enjoy every day. I'm gonna go get started on my bunker. All I know is if the world is to end in some painstakingly awful way, I do not want to be one of them survivors. I'm okay. If it's a zombie apocalypse, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't
fine.
add the zombie apocalypse because I thought it might have been a bit too crazy.
I feel like it's only because like there's no way it would get out of hand before. It will be like in that movie, the zombie heist one. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, Army of the Dead?
Yeah, where they just kind of close it off and then probably bomb it.
Although I swear they never bombed it. They just left.
They
it was
went-
scheduled for bombing.
Yeah, it was scheduled
That
for
was
bombing.
it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I would be okay with that if it's a zombie apocalypse.
Unless you're the human.
I'm gonna say it now. I would understand.
I would not.
I don't want it getting spread out and killing the entire race.
You can't just assume. The thing is with that is they would target poor neighborhoods. Let's be for real. They'll be like, oh yeah, while we're here, because they wouldn't just stop at like an area that's infected. They would be like, might as well just take care of some people.
No,
you don't think so.
They
You
wouldn't be
don't
able to
think
justify
so.
it.
Oh, come on now. Yes, they would. They'd be like, oh yeah, there was an outbreak in that area and we killed a bunch of the people.
It would have to be cordoned off because at least in Army of the Dead, they tried to evacuate everyone they could.
But I don't think they would in real life. I very much doubt they would because of the amount of testing they would have to do to make sure that every single one of the people that they've taken out of that area is... I feel like we swapped. In real life, I swear to you, I'm the optimist. But whenever we do the podcast, I always end up being like, the human race would do this. They would do this. They would screw everyone up. And you're like, no.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Stitches podcast. I hope you enjoyed our naysaying talk of how the world is going to end. I don't know if you were a believer of 2012, Y2K, but let us know what you think the end of the world could look like. Is it a meteor? Is it alien invasions? Is it Yellowstones? Which one is it? What do you believe? Let us know.
All we know for now is that the end is nah. But be sure to check out our previous episodes if you enjoyed this episode. And if you have already caught up, we will see you in 2 weeks' time.